Ah, good evening, uh, everybody. This is David Arman, and I live over in Springtown, Texas. And what what I am doing is trying to get people to understand the Bible better, and in the process of my teaching, I learn, and I'm trying to get back to what the text actually says. Yeah, what was meant when it was written, and what faith it is actually teaching. The what the remnant of the woman's seed in Revelation 12:17 are those who keep the commandments of God and hold the testimony of Yeshua, also known as Jesus. Uh, and this is a continuation of the videos on the visions from Patmos. Now, that there's a mistaken idea that the early apostles, including, of course, the Revelator, Apostle John, had taught that the second coming was imminent. And when was this book of Revelation written? It's after 70 AD, maybe as late as the 90s, 90 AD. But here we are now in the 21st century. And it hasn't come. And why do they teach that? Here's some of the uh, translations. And the Greek word uh, number 5034 is tachos in Tachos, which appears in Revelation 1, verse 1, and is often translated quickly or soon or some. It says in the New International Version, it reads, the revelation from Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants what must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angel to his servant John. And the English Standard Version is the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his servants the things which must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angel to his servant John. And of course, the New King James, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants, things which must shortly take place. And he sent and signified it by his angel to his servant John. Now, I know how some people try to get around it and say, well, God uh, looks at time differently than us. And that is taught in Scripture. It is taught in Scripture. But what the impression that people have is that this is saying that the second coming would be soon, and that the people who first heard the book of Revelation read would live to see it. Well, I have some notes from a commentator, uh, Ellicott. It's spelled Ellicott. He was an English commentator who lived some time ago. Uh, and he will comment on Revelation 1 and verse 1 and say, where he says, shortly, on this word, much controversy has turned its force. Speedily affords a groundwork, and it must be admitted a plausible one, to the preterist school of interpreters, who hold that the whole range of apocalyptic predictions was fulfilled within a comparatively short time after the apostle wrote. Now, the preterists, tend to look towards the invasion of Jerusalem by Titus in 70 AD as the fulfillment of the Mount Olivet prophecy and the beginning of the end times, in which case the kingdom would uh, soon appear, but not visibly, but that they so that they're not really weren't really looking for a millennial kingdom. The truth, however, seems to be that the words of God are of perpetual fulfillment. They are not only to be fulfilled, they must have not only been fulfilled, but they have been and are being fulfilled. And they yet will be fulfilled, and the principles which are enunciated by the prophet, though shortly fulfilled, are not exhausted in immediate fulfillment, but carry lessons from succeeding generations of mankind. And Strong's New Testament, number 5034, it translated it as quickly or shortly, and gives for scriptures Acts 12:7, Acts 22:18, Romans 16:20, and comments speedily and soon, Luke 18:8, 1 Timothy 3:14, and then we have Luke 18, verses 1 through 8. It says, then that's Yeshua, spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart, saying, there was a certain city, a judge who did not fear God, nor regard man. Now there was a widow in that city, and she came to him, saying, get justice from my adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterwards he said within himself, though I do not fear God or regard man, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her. By her continual coming, she wearies me. Then the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said, and shall God not avenge his own elect, who cry out day and night to him, though he bear with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he really find faith on the earth? And notice that word speedily. Does that mean it was imminent? No, that's not what it means. Because we can see that there is a considerable time period in which, the widow was coming to the judge, and, he was becoming impatient. And it goes on in verse 7 to say, and shall God not avenge his own elect, who cry out day and night to him, though he bears long with them? He bears long with them. But then the next sentence is, he says, I will tell you that he will avenge them speedily. The vengeance is quick. The vengeance is rapid. It's like, well, the birth pains started increasing in intensity. Yeshua mentioned that in the Mount Olivet prophecy, and it, you know, suffering will increase in intensity as we come to the last day, which is right before the kingdom. And what? I don't believe we're at that state now, but I can see it coming. And if you've ever noticed that history seems to be occurring faster lately, the news cycle is faster. The world changes faster. And a lot of it has to do with advances in technology and uh, unstable governments. Another scripture uh, is in Acts 12, verses 5 through 7. Peter was therefore kept in prison, but constant prayer was offered to God for him by the church. And when Herod was about to bring him out, that night Peter was sleeping, bound with two chains between two soldiers. And the guards before the door were keeping the prison. Now behold, an angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shone in the prison. And he struck Peter down and raised him up, saying, Arise quickly. And his chains fell off his hands. So, basically, it was talking about the then and now that, there's just I can't say, oh, you don't have to wait much longer. There's no waiting about. They just went. And with that, uh, I am wish to end this video, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for listening, and please encourage people to subscribe.